I asked it, so he just called me Information Systems, and then when I told him stop doing that, he started calling me Alexander. So, yeah, Alexander.
Assalamualaikum, I'm Farina Farouk. We are here in another episode of Muslim Revert Diary. In this episode, we will be interviewing Professor Emeritus Iskandar Hack. Let's join us. Assalamualaikum.
Salam. How are you?
How are you, Professor?
I'm fine. Thank you. Yeah, please do come in.
Okay. Assalamualaikum. Professor Iskandar, thank you for being with us today. So maybe you could introduce yourself and your wife and how long you have become a Muslim.
Okay, all right. My name is Iskandar Hack. And I've been a Muslim for about a little over 20 years. This is my wife Zaina, and we've been married for 14 years. My background before Islam is that of a very weak Christian. My mother was a Baptist, Southern Baptist. Her father actually was a Baptist preacher in Kentucky. Both of my parents were alcoholics.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you actually doesn't have a
religious background
as a Christian.
But I read a lot. I read a lot of Christianity, but I didn't practice any. It's one of those.
And you also got a lot of questions on Christianity.
Yeah, there's some inconsistencies in the Christian religion, and I'm not going to make this discussion over Christianity versus Islam, but there are some serious inconsistencies that I could never resolve within the Christian community. And like I said, my father, for many years, he was pretty much an atheist. It was more of a slow process. It wasn't a defining moment. The big issue that I had with Christianity was that if you understand or have ever heard the Easter story, the Easter story when Isha, or Jesus, I'm going to refer to him as Jesus as I'm reciting the Christian story, when he came to Jerusalem just before the crucifixion, there was a period where he went into the Garden of Gethsemane and prayed to God for a long period, and then shortly after that, if Jesus is the God as the Christian faith says, who was he praying to? So that's a huge question. So Islam typically answered that question. And I also grew up around a lot of Jewish people. I'm originally from Minnesota, and we lived near an area in St. Paul called Highland Park, which was predominantly Jewish at that time. So I knew a lot about the Jewish faith there. And Islam is very similar to the Jewish faith. Except for in the Jewish faith, they don't accept converts very well. You can't convert to the Jewish faith But Islam is much more open to it. And the religions are very similar now. Some people will argue about the political issues and I don't want to get into that. I'm just saying faith for faith, they're very similar to each other.
Maybe you can share with us funny moment when you learn about Islam.
My name's Iskandar, and the short version of that is. So I had a dean for a long time. He just called me Information Systems. I asked it, so he just called me Information Systems, and then when I told him stop doing that, he started calling me Alexander. So, yeah, Alexander.
Final question would be, what will you say to the new Muslim out there?
Well, the major thing I would say is you sometimes have to have a little bit of a thick skin, because you'll get a lot of advice from people that don't necessarily know what they're talking about. They may be born a Muslim, but they have a lot, Islam is very complex. There's cultural influences that come from the Middle East. There's cultural influences that come from Malaysia, some that come over from Indonesia, India. Those are the most common ones you find in Malaysia. And they're not all right. So you have to kind of dig into it, read a lot.